Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. And today we're going to be going deep on conversation intelligence and what it means for sales and revenue leaders like you. Meetings are exploding. We're looking at a 34% increase by 2027. But the real challenge is extracting gold from all that conversation. So we'll be joined by an expert to help us unpack all of this.
Happy to be here.
And welcome. It's so good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here. You're right. Those meetings are like a gold mine, but most companies are just walking away with, a handful of dirt. Conversation intelligence is the tool that changes that.
Yeah, I love that analogy. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is conversation intelligence?
Think of it as having an AI assistant listening to every sales call, webinar, even those quick team huddles. But this isn't just recording, it's using the power of natural language processing, or NLP, to analyze what's being said, the tone, and even the emotions behind the words.
Oh, wow. So we're going beyond simple transcriptions here. We're talking about getting into the nitty-gritty
Yeah,
of how people communicate.
exactly. We're talking about identifying key themes that might be missed by the human ear, spotting patterns and customer objections, and even predicting future behavior based on subtle cues in the conversation.
That sounds incredibly powerful. But let's get specific. How does this translate into tangible benefits for sales and revenue leaders?
Imagine having a clear view of not just what is being said in your sales calls, but why. This means identifying which sales techniques are actually resonating with customers, understanding why deals are being won or lost, and even pinpointing coaching opportunities for your team.
So it's about moving from gut feeling to data-driven insights.
Precisely. With conversation intelligence, you can track things like talk-to-listen ratios, identify buying signals you might have missed, and even spot those subtle red flags that indicate a deal might be going south. This information can then be used to improve your sales processes, personalize your coaching, and even refine your overall go-to-market strategy.
This all sounds amazing, but
hmm
let's not forget about implementation. It's one thing to have the technology, but how do we actually get our teams using it effectively?
You're hitting on a key point. The technology is only as good as its adoption. A successful implementation starts with choosing the right platform, one that integrates seamlessly with your existing CRM and communication channels. You also want to ensure that the data is presented in a way that's easy to understand and act on, so your team doesn't feel overwhelmed.
So it's about making it user-friendly and ensuring that the insights are actually actionable.
Absolutely. And it's about providing adequate training and support. Your team needs to understand not just how to use the platform, but how it directly benefits them in their roles. When they see the value, the adoption takes care of itself.
All of this really highlights the potential of conversation intelligence. But before we jump ahead, let's dive into some real-world examples of how companies are using this to achieve real results.
That's a perfect segue because the proof is in the pudding. Let's take the case of Kesey.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to Kesey and their incredible success story in just a moment. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were about to delve into Kesey, a company that provides access management solutions. They faced a challenge that many of our listeners probably grapple with: improving objection handling and coaching their sales reps effectively.
So they brought in conversation intelligence to be that all-seeing coach.
Exactly. They implemented a platform that analyzed their sales calls, not just for what was said, but for the specific phrases and strategies used by their top performers.
So they could identify not only what objections came up, but how their best reps were handling them.
Right. They took those insights and built them into a revamped training program, giving reps real-time feedback based on what was happening in their actual calls.
This wasn't just theoretical. It was about using data to fine-tune their approach.
That's the beauty of it. And the results were incredible. They saw a 3x improvement in objection handling. Their reps were more confident, better equipped to address customer concerns, and ultimately closed more deals.
That's a powerful testament to how data-driven insights can translate into real-world results. But it wasn't just about closing more deals, right? There was also an impact on the speed and efficiency of their sales process.
Absolutely. Because they had this playbook of successful strategies, they were able to implement their sales processes 25% faster. Think about the time and resources saved.
And if I'm doing the math right, faster implementation plus better objection handling equals.
They doubled their deal closure rate. That's the kind of impact that gets sales leaders excited.
No doubt about it. Now, Kesey is a great example of how conversation intelligence can empower sales teams, but let's shift gears for a moment and talk about customer success. This is another area where those insights from conversations can be invaluable.
Couldn't agree more. Retaining customers is just as crucial as acquiring new ones, and conversation intelligence can be a game changer in that department.
Let's look at File, a B2B expense management platform. They were facing a challenge familiar to many businesses: customer churn.
And, as you mentioned earlier, acquiring new customers is significantly more expensive than retaining the ones you have.
So how did File leverage conversation intelligence to combat churn?
They equipped their customer success team with a platform that listened to every customer interaction and flagged potential churn indicators. Think about key phrases, changes in tone, even the frequency of conversations. Those subtle clues can be incredibly revealing.
So it's like having an early warning system that alerts you to potential issues before they become major problems.
Exactly. And it's not just about reactive problem solving. By understanding the root causes of churn, they could proactively address those issues, improve the customer experience, and ultimately reduce the likelihood of losing those valuable accounts.
And the numbers speak for themselves. File saw a 3x increase in their ability to detect those churn indicators, which is remarkable.
What's even more impressive is that they were able to cut their churn rate in half, a 50% reduction. That's a huge win for any business, especially in a competitive market.
And it's not just about saving money. It's also about building stronger relationships with your customers.
Right. By demonstrating that you're listening and responding to their concerns, you're fostering a sense of trust and loyalty.
And those happy customers are more likely to stick around, become advocates for your brand, and even refer new business your way.
It's a virtuous cycle that starts with understanding what your customers are really saying.
These examples really highlight the power of conversation intelligence. It's not just a tool for sales teams. It's a valuable asset for anyone who interacts with customers. Whether you're in sales, customer success, marketing, or even product development, those conversations are a gold mine of insights.
And as we've seen, those insights can translate into tangible results: improved sales performance, reduced churn, stronger customer relationships, and ultimately a more successful business.
Now, I know our listeners are eager to learn how they can bring this technology into their own organizations.
Let's dive into that.
We're back and ready to kind of equip you all with how to bring this into your own organizations. So you've heard the success stories. Now let's get tactical.
Yeah, it all starts with asking the right questions before you even start, shopping for a platform.
Okay, so what should be top of mind for our sales and revenue leaders listening?
First, integration. How well does it integrate with your existing tech stack? Think about your CRM, your communication tools. It needs to be a seamless flow of information, not another silo.
Got it. Integration is key. What else?
So then think about, the specific features that align with your goals. Do you want to improve sales coaching? Do you want to spot churn risks early on? Identify emerging market trends. Each platform has its strengths, so choose one that solves your specific pain points.
And let's not forget about the teams, right? They're the ones that are going to be using this every day.
Absolutely. Ease of use is critical. The platform should be intuitive, provide clear visualizations, and deliver actionable insights. If it's clunky or overwhelming, adoption will suffer.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between powerful features and user-friendliness.
Exactly. And remember, implementation is an ongoing process. Provide adequate training, offer ongoing support, and celebrate those early wins. When your team sees the value, they become your biggest advocates.
That's such a great point. It's got to be something that people actually want to use and enjoy using. So as we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
Conversation intelligence isn't just a trend. It's a fundamental shift in how we understand and leverage customer interactions. Those conversations are happening anyway. Now you have the power to turn them into a source of continuous improvement and growth.
Such great advice. So for all of our sales and revenue leaders out there, take that deep dive into conversation intelligence. You might be surprised by the hidden gems you uncover. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.